So class is only an hour, probably more like 55 minutes, because we're going to do a um, practice that could be a daily practice or several times a week. And this class will reflect what we're focusing on Sundays. And Chloe, on Sundays, the classes are an hour and a half, and I go into I usually talk for between 5 and 15 minutes, giving background and um, sort of context and history, a little bit of history. So this one, we're just going to do the practices. And it's a funny time to start because this series, starting next Tuesday, will be aligned with the summer series. And we're just ending the spring series. So tonight we're going to do the 8 brocades and spend a little bit more time arriving, lubricating the joints, and doing kind of preparatory or preparatory short qigong. And I was going back and forth about whether to introduce Iron Shirt this week because I'll also be doing it next week. But and I thought, why not? Uh, Teaching Iron Shirt for 12 weeks, it's the first time I've done that. So I'm really looking forward to being able to teach a lot of the breathing techniques and the sort of inner posture work, if you can call it that. They don't usually have time for in a 7 week series that's including meditation. Repeating what I just said feels like on Sunday, regardless of whether you do the Qigong that you learn here with me or anywhere else, there are parts, components to an ongoing Qigong practice. And those are somehow easing yourself into it. So, unless the Qigong set, and there are literally dozens, if not, well, there are hundreds at least, is very gentle, you need to do some gentle movement to take away whatever has been settling as you've been sitting or living your non Qigong part of your day. And there are many to choose from. To pay attention to what feels good and what works for you. That's an important intuition. You're getting information there. It's not just, oh, I like this, but I shouldn't indulge. No. Your body, your emotional body, your chi body is telling you this is something I need and can use. Excuse me. The other thing that I want to emphasize for the new people who will see the video without me being here is purging, I've noticed, is very underemphasized in most Qigong practices, Qigong classes, and workshops. It's fundamental to Chinese medicine that illness is caused by stagnation. And stagnation is energy that isn't moving. So, very different in Tao than, say, uh, Buddhism. I don't know about Hinduism or yoga, but any emotional energy is fine. It's part of being alive. It's when we get stuck there that there's a problem. And any tension or kind of over relaxation in the physical body is also fine as long as we don't get stuck there. It doesn't stay. So purging of stale chi and maybe I'm going to use the word chronic, but staying longer than it should, pains, tensions, etc., is not only beneficial, it's essential. And there are Qigong movements that do this. And as I said before, luckily, most of the purging practices are not super refined. They can be done right away. They're accessible and they're not so strenuous that you have to kind of build up strength to do them. No. But tonight, I think we're going to do two actually. We're going to open our class, our purging part of class with shaking, which has many different variations. And then after our 8 brocades, we'll do the purging from Iron Shirt, which is the phoenix cleans her feathers or its feathers. After you've purged, you need to gather energy. And this usually does not have to be a specific practice, although I think I'm going to teach you one tonight that is nice to have in your portfolio. Usually by any Qigong set, expansive movements, deep breathing, you're going to be gathering qi. If you have a state of low energy or depletion, then you might recruit very focused and perhaps very rigorous qi gathering practice. A note about qi gathering is our culture is all about accumulation. Do not focus your qi gathering on accumulation. Accumulation doesn't flow, right? So you're gathering all this stuff that your brain is saying, oh, great, more. If it's more than you need, not only is it wasteful, but it can imbalance you just as seriously as a depletion situation. So we rely on our chi body and avoid getting too stuck in our head, knowing that we are either gently, perhaps a little more rigorously gathering chi for us to use. After that, either within the set or as a separate and often internal practice, is refining. Some texts call it purifying. Don't really like to use pure or pure purification, but kind of misleading. And it's just think of it as being old fashioned. If we refine it, we are bringing the resonant, the amount, the elemental components of it to be more aligned with our body and more useful to us. Usually those are gentle. Usually they are more yin, and that's when your Qigong, your meditative practices and cultivations would be used. Since this is going to be a mostly movement and physical Qigong class, we may just close class with quiet sitting, which is enough, which is good enough if you can sit. Those of you who know the microcosmic orbit, that's kind of the crown jewel of refining and calming. Excuse me. And after that, really, as you become more skillful, you want to scan or observe and make sure if the refinement was enough, that you're not feeling free floating or mismatched energy in your body. And if so, then we have practices that we can do to bring them into the dantian, is the energy center in the belly, one of the few places we can store qi, or into the bones, as we did on Sunday. And then just like the 5 parts of meditation process, the last part is the rest of your life. If you have this fantastic Qigong practice and then go out into the world and succumb to stress and distraction and McDonald's hamburgers, you're not taking care of yourself. And part of Qigong is to take care of it in a general way. So we began by sitting well, let's stand well. The feet are parallel, which is pretty unusual for most Westerners. So look down and make sure that if you drew a line straight out from your big toe, that at no point would it cross or they would depart from each other. Unlock your knees, which unlocks your ankles and your hips. And then the upper body is the same. We want our uh, abdomen gently engaged, our skull slightly rotated down so our crown points to heaven. And then our heart. Inhale into your heart and exhale into the center of your body. And again, I prefer to have my feet a little further apart for opening the spine, and anything further out than right straight down from your hips, you give up that parallel position and your feet should be right under your patella. Visualize an obstacle, a stumpy little wall, kind of it's sitting on your feet. That visualization helps us keep our spine rounded as we slow motion dive down over the wall and hang. You're not trying to touch the floor. You're not trying to critique the flexibility of your spine. You're just hanging. And you don't stand up. You visualize that you have a long monkey tail. And you draw that monkey tail, which is probably 3 or 4 feet behind you, touching the floor back there. Draw that monkey tail closer and closer to the back of your heels. And that's what shifts your pelvis. That's what helps you rise. And once the tail is there, then you can stack your vertebrae. Once you're upright, open your wrists to show your palms, open your elbows, open your shoulders, connect your heart to heaven. I keep talking about heaven. We're between heaven and earth. And between heaven and earth is the human realm. So these are 3 realms of energy. Then turning back. Well, let's take a big breath before we do. And exhale. Turn your wrists in, your elbows, and your shoulders. Good. Moving the spine in a twisting way, but gently. So you're not forcing, called the counter swing. So we inhale, bring our arms up, intuitive. You're not focusing on the form too much. You really want your knees bent though, prevent torquing them. And then throw 2 balls, one in each direction. And look in the direction your front arm is throwing. Good. Good. And slow down. So for me, this is more than enough. Sometimes I just do opening the spine, but I think also twisting in a gentle way is also very helpful. And our purging, so this is something you should know. I change my mind while I'm teaching. Generally staying on track, but instead of having 2 purging practices, I want to do the phoenix cleans its feathers for our purge. I want to leave lots of time for April Kate. So the phoenix cleans its feathers is one of 6, let's call them chapters in Iron Shirt. And Iron Shirt altogether is a very strengthening and clarifying practice, very young. But each one of those can be kind of plucked and used on its own, especially the phoenix. It's a wonderful stand alone, purging. So we ground, which means we want to connect more strongly to the earth. Think, and let's make our posture, our feet a little wider. If you're inclined and youthful, you can even go down into a horse stance. Not necessary. We just want our hips to be open enough. Connect your feet to the earth. This can happen simply by bringing your attention to your feet. Further grounding using this powerful porosity of the palms of our hands. The center is called Lao Gong. Below your navel, my navel's here, must be below. Joints are not locked. Armpits are not squeezed. So we have this roundness. So this class will meet in person once a month for Iron Shirt and even the eight brocades. It's really helpful for me to be able to refine your posture, but we can get a lot done on Zoom too. What we're going to do is a Qigong version of Kapalabhati, the fire breath. Exhale only. Relax and air will come in. I just did it through my mouth so you could hear it, but it's actually all through the nose. As you do, pull in abdomen, pull up perineum. Diaphragm naturally goes down. Pull in your kidneys too. You can make that make sense to your body. So all directions, we're squeezing our dantian, relaxing. Qi will come in. Squeeze, relax. And I'll do this to let you know that the set of breath is ending. Take in air. Smile, soft heart. Empty your lungs all the way. Take in 1/3 of your capacity. And as if you're scraping up, gathering up the dust bunnies of stagnation or stagnant qi. Next third, next third. And then we use these elemental sounds. Use the metal sound, S. Releasing it out back to the earth. Going to clean this way now. Let's do cho. Water sound. So my lungs are empty, I think. Empty them more as we stretch our tendons. I look up, tongue out, feet go out. A little brushing. You want to bring qi down if it's risen. You're going to do it twice more. Another thing is, at any time, any questions, just unmute and ask me. You don't need to wait until the end. So grounded, connected to the earth. Inhale, filling your lungs and gathering. And SH, wood element. Fire element, Ha. Brushing. Last one.
I'm a bit unclear on when you're inhaling and exhaling. Would you mind remind me as you're going through the moves, like which ones are inhales versus exhales?
Sure.
Thank you.
So here only exhale, but because you've exhaled so strongly, air will come in as you relax. It's it's just exhale that you're hopefully hearing. And then here, I'm inhaling, but I'm also inhaling very strongly. So inhale 1/3 of my lungs, second third, inhale, third, and then exhale to release. So this is the releasing of the stagnation. Here also, inhale, 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 and then let's see, with the sound, exhale. And this exhale should be, we think we're exhaling everything and we're not really. So this gives us the opportunity to really empty the lungs. Exhale. And then when I do this, I really push out. Did that answer?
Got it. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. For the last time, fill your lungs in Kapalabhati. And earth element, the tiger growl, guttural sound. And triple warmer sound, he. The last stepping, kicking. So this is done a lot because we always practice as beginners, as people who kind of know we're going to make mistakes. Yang Qi, the Qi that we feel most clearly, most readily, is governed by fire. It likes to rise. So the last thing we want is to bring Qi into our head and leave it there. So this, I'm using that powerful energy center and drawing it down my center line in front, just back to the earth. Always practice with the attitude of abundance, not scarcity, because Qi is abundant. And having that intention of, I don't have enough, I need more, colors the way the energy will malfunction, really. Any other questions about the Phoenix? So know that with the iron shirt stuff and the 8 brocades, we can do it right away. It's almost like we can rough draft it immediately. And then over time, I kind of feed you, add this element or remember this, and your practice is refined and deepened and, let's say, improved structurally.
I had a quick
Go
question.
through the 8 brocades.
Can I ask one quick question, Miranda?
Yeah.
When we're doing the sounds, should the sound end when
Trouble hearing you. Hang on.
Sorry, I think I moved away. I was wondering if when we do the sounds, if they should be completed when the hand completes its motion. Like, should those be aligned? I feel like
Yes.
my sound is like my breath exhale is longer than it takes to get my hand out.
You should either your body and your breath and your sound should be coordinated.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear which one was ending first, but if your hands are coming out before you end the sound, you should slow it down. If the opposite is true, slow the sound down. But yeah, coordination between breath and body, it's always the goal, and that is one of the places to do that. Thank you, Meredith. Any other questions? So now standing well, but we begin with our feet. They don't have to be touching, but they should be close. Should be feeling very vertical. This in the Shaolin version, we begin with a bow. And it's a levered from the hips bow. And then we can widen our stance and just to inhale as our arms come up, exhale as they come down, begins and is the transition. Reaching up for heaven. And I reach up, I relax, and then send my palms to connect. My head is back. And this, to me, the feeling is this deep gratitude. Your wrists soften, hands running up and they come down. Reminding that there is a deep expansiveness to the feeling of this version. However, my vision is always here. I'm looking at my hands. My hands are out of my field of vision. I'm just gazing very calmly and locally. And you will see me do both feet to stay in frame, but the Shaolin version is a big step with the left leg. Step with the left and you start on the right into a maintainable horse stance and coming. And so this is my, what is it? My left hand is in the mudra. My right hand is the fist pulling the bow. This is drawing the bow. I stay. I'm looking at my hand in this version. My hands relax and face forward. And I go to the other side. My hands relax and now they face down, back, center, and our transition. Stay in the horse stance as you transition and then big step in with the left foot. The hands reach your heart, one to heaven, one to earth. Nothing is locked, but you're as high and low as you can go without locking. And then open your chest and look back. It's separating heaven and earth. Bring your vision front and your arms, and then they change position. So we might be tempted to go right into this. It's not a diagonal, it's a vertical, and then open. Come back to front. When your hands reach your heart, we move into the transition. We cross, so we're going to the left, big circle. My hand is on my kidney, the back of my hand. This hand is helping me twist, and I look back, all about the twist. Wise owl turns, or wise owl looks backward. Translations vary. Then we go to the other side with big circles again. And let's do arms out to the side, down, transition. Horse stamp. And arms come up and are sort of precisely placed on the thighs. Your hands never leave your thigh. We begin, this is the great bear turn. So we bend down, lever down, and then turn to the right, what follows, and just look straight, no twisting. Lever down outside your leg if you can, and circle to the other side. And now full twist. Lever down again. Circle to the other side. Twist. Lever down into the center. Now do not lever up, roll. And inhale up, exhale. Left leg in. I like to pause here at the dantian. So you notice that I'm not giving you lots of breath cadence information. Allow your body to breathe as it needs, unless I specify. Really, I'm only specifying the transition in most cases. So we take some of the energy of our dantian, bring it to the kidneys. And you're making strong contact with your kidneys. You're providing support there. As you bend over and back up and bend back. Be conservative about how you bend back. Up. Now when you bend over, draw your palms down the back of your legs to your heels. And across your feet and draw them up inner front, but round your back like you're being tugged up by a cord, like you're a marionette almost. You do this one twice. The kidneys. Up, forward. Draw down your legs, across, coming up. The dantian. Back into a horse stance. You notice it's every other one. Natural or upright and horse. Natural and horse. This is punching with angry eyes or fists with angry eyes. We begin. Keep an eye on using too much muscle to keep your fists, but the fists are complete. You're not doing a baby fist like in our other 8 brocades. Start with our right arm. And my vision is with my hands, hand in this case. I relax and press. I try to keep that 90 degrees if possible. I turn slowly. When I'm fingers to the earth, I curl my fingers almost one at a time back into my fist. And this is important. Instead of just parking, use as much effort as you can. And the image works for me is like I'm pulling a wet rug to my side. And then the left side. Soften, breath. Curl into a fist and pull that wet rug. Back to the right and out to the side. Soften and press. Or curl. Pull. Slowly bring your vision to your other hand. And this. Soften and press. Turn. Curl your fingers one by one and pull. Vision comes back to the center. Both hands out to the side. Soften and press. My hands look. Turn. Curl fingers. Pull. Forward. Soften to press. Turn. Curling. Pull. And transition. Narrow your stance. A little narrower than under the hips. Gather chi into a beak fist as you come up on your toes. Hold that chi, hold this verticality and release. Gather. Strong exhale as you release. And intuitively inhale as you gather. Last one. Having a hard time fitting into an hour, but do my best. I also want to introduce the core posture in Iron Shirt, which is embracing the tree for each one. There are layers to it, depths, and it can be very subtle. But by way of introduction, I don't want to take you to a place of, oh, am I doing this right? And getting it all in your head. We'll do the Wudong version, which is still very physical, but it gets some of that stuff into our body. So we have either under the hips, it can be a little wider, doesn't need to be horse stance. This can be done in a horse stance. So we do first movements are actually reaching outward. So my palms are facing down and similar to Phoenix. I'm not locking joints and I'm not squishing armpits. Everything is open and rounded. But I'm sanding my connection, my chi, my intention deep into the earth. And then same thing, but this time up into heaven. This way also up into the cosmos. I'm rooted. Can't go up without being rooted. Just float away up into the heavens. Even though I'm doing this, joints are unlocked and shoulders are down. Check your shoulders. And straight out. Reaching out to connect all the way to the horizon on both sides, both directions. And in Wudang, only then do I come to this self-contained and self-embracing posture. Very quickly, your feet are connected to the earth. If that's getting repetitious, lift your toes and grab the floor, and it will open the energy centers on the bottom of your feet to help that happen. Knees are unlocked. Tailbone points to the earth. Your perineum is closed. Pointing your tailbone to the earth shifts your pelvis just enough so that your lower spine is more open. And your abdomen, of course, is gently engaged. Shoulders are down, chin where head is rolled. Let's once again nestle our heart. Inhale and exhale. And this would be the standing meditation posture. Get ready for summer. Get ready for life. I would suggest this ending practice and then holding each one. And start with 3 minutes. Sounds short, doesn't feel short. Work your way up to 20 minutes. In order to be certified to teach Iron Shirt, I had to hold this for 45 minutes, just for a little context. And how you end something is just as important as how you begin it. So let's open each one out, open our heart out, and return to our center. So this would be, that is really, it was a 45-minute physical practice because I spoke in the beginning. And we will end class tonight with just a couple of minutes of Dantian breathing to calm and take in any chi that's still rumbling around in our chi body. But now would be the time also that you would do your Qigong, where you would use microcosmic orbit or fusion of the 5 elements or even the 6 healing sounds. Before we end class with Dantian breathing, were there any other questions? Okay, so sit well. I won't take you through any possible modifications. Listen to your body and go into what feels like your best sitting well structure might be. Go inside. You can veil your eyes or close them. If you're very, very skillful, you can keep them open. Coalesce your attention in and around your belly, your dantian. Smile into your dantian. Take part of your awareness and expand it outward and connect with the chi field, a beautiful mist cloud of golden light. Inhale fully but gently, filling your body with that golden mist. Also gently exhale. Draw that golden chi into your dantian. Inhale, fill with golden mist. Exhale, drawing it into the dantian. And as you do, visualize exhaling grayness or cloudiness. A soft invitation to your body to release more stale chi or just anything your body can't use at this moment. Stay with that breath several times. Good. If you have the time, after we sign off, sit for a while. 5 minutes, just sit, try not to do too much. Any last questions? Okay. Well, I'll follow up with an email with the link to the video, and feel free to use that video. You don't have to try and remember to do the practice. And I'll send information about other stuff too. There's another free class. I guess it's 2 weeks, Sunday after this week, Sunday.
Miranda, I had a question about so this is the class that's initiating one series, and then in 2 weeks, there'll be another class that initiates another series. What's the difference between the two?
Sure. This series is on Tuesday evenings, and it's an hour. And it's an experiment in that once a month, it will be in person. So if you are not in the area, it would be 3 weeks a month the class would happen. If you are in the area, you have that addition of coming in person, if you are in the area, I think it's a great thing to do. Or you can also only come in person and have a class once a month. That's why it's an experiment. I hope it's not too confusing. Basically, this one focuses on giving you a Qigong practice, very similar to going to a yoga class and doing your yoga practice there. I don't give a lot of lecture beyond what you might need to know to do it. On Sundays, that's the other series. And that's a long-standing series of series. That's 90 minutes. And we will also do Qigong. In addition to that, we will do Nigong. So Nigong, not very well known. It just means inner work or inner cultivation. And I'm trying to figure out how to say this quickly. Say it this way. From the Taoist point of view, we have multiple bodies. We have physical, chi, mental, emotional, and spirit. There are others, but those are the ones that we mostly work with. Qigong works with the physical body and the energy body. Qigong works with the energy body, the mental emotional body, and the spirit. So that the cultivations by their nature are quieter and deeper. And ultimately, to travel the Tao path, you'd be cheating yourself if you only did Qigong. But Qigong is a wonderful place to start. That makes sense?
Mhm. Thank you.
Yeah. So take the other free class. It's the 4th of May. And that's the best way to get a sense of it.
Miranda, is it
Yeah.
the 4th? Is it the 4th? Because the 4th is a Saturday.
Okay, then it's the 5th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oof.
You keep me
Right.
honest, or at least on track, Lori. So
Just-
the other thing about the Sunday classes is I give you a lot of material. So it's really my intention is to become obsolete, to teach you background, reasons why you're doing things, and the practices so that you are self-sufficient. And of course, practicing together is also huge. So maybe I'm not completely obsolete. Yeah, very committed to having my clients and students be able to do things for themselves, which is the Taoist way. Any other questions or corrections, Lori? Have I done anything else wrong?
Can I ask one more question, Miranda?
Yeah.
Does the Nidong work at all? I'm just getting in touch with the 8 extraordinary vessels.
Uh-huh.
There is the inner alchemy meditation. Are we working with those at all, or do you know a meditation for that?
The 8 extraordinary. There is so
Like
fusion of
Nidong?
the 5 elements,
Oh,
has 1, 2, 3. And I think it's fusion 3 is kind of like the microcosmic orbit gone berserk. And it's going through all sorts of places, sometimes not even where the meridians are. And there is at least one of those practices uses the 8 extraordinary vessels. And one of them, I don't know if it's separate or if it's the one I'm thinking of from fusion, is used in to help you fall asleep, sleep practice. Yeah. I think, Meredith, it's the main place. I'll have to kind of mine my memory to see if there are other ways that it's used. Other questions? Okay. So I know that a couple of you have asked about doing fusion this summer, and I will look into that. It's just a matter of when and how to format it. It might be, I'm thinking maybe it's a Thursday night. I don't know. On the East Coast. Other questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great
Thanks, Miranda.
Thank you.
evening.
Yay.
My pleasure.
Thank you.